First of all, it's beautiful, and secondly, it's free. It's comfortable. When you put it on, you feel comfortable, you feel free. You easily move, you move freely, actually. That's why I chose that.
This is African Beats. I love it. It's really beautiful, as you can see, and it makes me to go back to my roots as an African.
Given the fact that items we wear are oftentimes powerful and apparent form of personal expression, there is also a need to purchase irrespective of the price. However, due to the socio-political crisis in the region, these new designs of sandals and slippers made out of beads will also help to boost the economy and create jobs to many Cameroonians.
Sorry for that mix-up. That was Daniel Ikomembua who did that story, not Alice Leke Liengu, as we did mention during the read-up. We take you now to Cote d'Ivoire, where the various 6 stadiums are actually prepared to welcome the 24 teams that will be coming to Ivory Coast for the African Cup of Nations, the 34th edition of the AFCON that will be taking place in no distant time. This has prompted our newsroom to go through on the various stadia on their degree of readiness and state of the art equipment that have been put in place by the Ivorian government. Details with this upcoming report.
Wanting to know the number and the various stadia that have been chosen to host the 2023 African Cup of Nations, I'm going to be giving to you an overview on the various stadiums that have been chosen to host of the African Cup of Nations coming January 2024. I am Sonita Nguni. Stay tuned. As January 2024 approaches, the fever of the 34th African Cup of Nations edition is getting high, with infrastructures being one of the main characteristics of hosting the African Cup of Nations. Here are the 6 AFCON 2023 stadiums that will host the 24 countries for the second time in Ivory Coast come January to February 2024. On the list is Stade Alassane Ouattara in Abidjan, with a capacity of 60,000 seats. It is Ivory Coast new national stadium. It is the largest stadium in the country and the most modern in Africa as well. Second on the list is Laurent Paco Stadium, capacity 20,000. It's a brand new stadium built between 2018 to 2023 in preparations of the 34th African Cup of Nations edition in Ivory Coast. The stadium was named after Laurent Paco, a late Ivorian actor who died in 2016. Charles Kanouns Barry Stadium, capacity 20,000. It's equally another new site built between 2018 to 2023 in preparations of the 2023 AFCON. It is another new modern stadium in the nation's capital. It was initially called Stade de Yamoussoukro. The Boni Stadium was named after Charles Kanouns on April 2023 after the country's former Prime Minister Charles Kanouns Brownie, who died in 2001. Stade Felix Houphouët-Boigny, capacity 33,000, is located in Abidjan. The stadium was named Stade Cheikh Idriss in order to recognize the French boatman in the 1961 French game, and now called Felix Houphouët-Boigny, the country's first president. It is also called Le Felixie. It equally hosted the finals of the AFCON in 1984, and in 2009 and 2013, there was a stampede which caused the death of 19 and 61 people respectively. Prior to the 2023 African Cup of Nations, the venue has been upgraded with a roof covering the entire auditorium. Stade de la Paix is another stadium that will be used in this year's edition in Ivory Coast. Capacity 40,000, built in the Bukayet city with about 800,000 people, and this particular city is known to be a city where many Ivorian footballers like Yaya Touré and Ibrahim Touré were born, amongst others. The stadium was built in the second largest city of Ivory Coast and hosted the 1984 AFCON. The arena equally acted as a peace place where in July 30 and 31st, 2007, the so-called ceasefire ceremony took place in the stadium, symbolizing an end to the Ivorian crisis and equally representing the current name, the Stade of Peace. Following the 33rd AFCON edition held in Cameroon, the avenue was expanded from 23 to 40,000 capacity. And at the last spot, it's the Amadou Gon Coulibaly 20,000 newly built capacity stadium to host the upcoming upcoming tournament. Construction works started in May 2018 and ended in 2019 with Amadou Ngon Coulibaly as Prime Minister of the GFCS. He died in office as he was the venue's patron before his demise. The naming of the stadium was already announced in July 2023.
We hang on to the wall of sports this time around with you, Cynthia Latte, to the build-up of the 29th edition of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope, slated for the month of February. Precisely February the 24th has prompted the organizing officials to organize a press conference on how ready they are when it comes to the test race and the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope proper, slated for February and January precisely. That will be taking place in the town of Poya. Cynthia Latte has details in this report.
Preparations ahead of the 29th Mount Cameroon Race of Hope are intensifying in the southwest region. In view of the annual sporting event to take place on February 24, 2024, a press conference has been organized in Boya to provide preliminary information on this year's edition. Several innovations were highlighted.
Test race, usually we used to do our medicals in the hospital, in the general hospital. The federation, like in Fekaput, the federation this time has decided to do its medical certificate in its federation. This is a sample of the medical certificate because the federation now has a medical doctor who is a recognized medical doctor. So every athlete comes to the federation to register, is going to be tested here by the Athletic Federation medical doctor for the Southwest. If he deems it fit that you are fit for the competition, the medical certificate is going to be signed and given to you so that you can now use it to apply. That's the first innovation. So we don't, athletes no more go to the hospital for medical certificates. They come to the federation for their medical certificate. And also we have stepped up our registration to 1,500. It used to be 1,000. But a lot of difficulties. Registration now for the test race is 1,500. Those are the two major innovations we have for this year's test race.
The test race will unfold in different parts of the country to serve as a pre-selection for the foot race. In the southwest region, this phase of the competition unfolds in Boya on January 20 from the Moliko Stadium to the intermediary Hurt and back.
Nous sommes à quelques jours de la course du test race qu'on appelle, course de présélection pour les athlètes du sud-ouest, même d'ailleurs, qui voudraient bien se processer ici pour la 29e édition de la course du Mont Cameroun. Déjà, tout est fin prêt. Les athlètes ont commencé à faire leur enregistrement. Il y a les frais de test race aussi que chaque athlète doit prévoir, en même temps les frais de la licence. Sans oublier, n'est-ce pas, les cartes d'identité et les photos.
Athletes of the Mount Cameroon Race of Hope take on a 38-kilometer foot race to challenge the chariots of the gods. National and international runners, both men and women, participate in categories including the veterans, senior and junior categories. Over the past years, athletes from the Northwest region have maintained brilliance. This year, hopes are high in the Southwest region that the account will change and the competition will conclude beautifully with the winners emerging from this part of the country.
You are watching High Prime and we are coming to you live from a new studio here in High Television. We cross over to the Northwest region where the city mayor of Bamenda, Paul Achombong, has reacted on the recent reports done by one of the sister news television channels in Cameroon that actually alluded the failure of the city council to come to the aid of the denizens in the city of Bamenda. He, in the following excerpt of an interview done for us by a newsroom producer or newsroom correspondent in Bamenda, Peter Wingo, the city mayor of Bamenda explained on some holdups when it comes to this funding and the set construction of roads across the city of Bamenda.
Temporarily, we are providing water to dampen the roads and reduce the quantity of dust that are emanating from the maintenance work we had. Equally, we considered the issue of going back to the double surface dressing of the roads. We really wanted to do it, but we now relooked again at the cost. It had to cost us another sum of about close to 430 something million, close to 500 million for the double surface dressing for this stretch, which is close about 8 kilometers. The city council, as we all know, actually at the moment cannot raise such an amount of money. Better still, if this road we had to rehabilitate with this double surface dressing were to be sustained, we would have done so. But when this World Bank funded project will come around, anytime as we expect, then what we would have done will surely be demolished. So we're between and in betwixt, whether to do something that will be demolished in a couple of months or to manage and maintain the roads with watering. That is what we are now up to, and that is what we are doing, even if we are not efficient enough to eliminate in its totality the dust. Commence the building of a city of the future. That is our collective responsibility. As for us as the city council, and for me as the city mayor, and for me as apparently the parent of the people of this municipality, I most humbly beseech them to be resolutely confident in the state and her institutions, to be confident in their future, and contribute each and every one of us our share, fare and quota in this wonderful development projects which we are engaging in. For instance, we've made it a point of duty that we're going to improve on our road infrastructure. We're going to improve a lot more this year in our hygiene and sanitation, specifically in the collection and treatment of garbage. I have called the enterprise involved in the collection of garbage that we should work together to ensure that garbage is being sorted from homes. That is to say that from homes, biodegradable and non-biodegradable garbage will be sorted out and collected in 2 different containers, such that we can now reconvert this biodegradable waste into manure and other facilities which we've started in the past. For instance, in the city council, we have a very large farm which we've been able to produce tomatoes, yam, carrot, beans and all sorts of fruits in large quantities which are organic oriented, and we're going to work double on that premise this year 2024. We're going to improve on the market situation of the food market, which we think that we will be able to buy our foodstuff from a clean market. We have already launched by C2D 3 major market projects for the construction of a multi-commercial center, one in Bamenda 3, which is about 1.5 billion, one in Bamenda 2, which is about 1.2 billion, one in Bamenda 1, which is about 1 billion. The tenders have been submitted, they have been examined, and we are only waiting for the results to be approved, and the contractors will get to work. This is an event to make sure that we can reduce hawking and street marketing. Finally, we're working on an issue of giving this our municipality a better lighting system in the night. One, we have provided for close to 200 solar lighting systems for this year 2024, which apparently in the failure procedures of Enio Energy, our solar lighting lamps can still give lights to our very dark and dangerous corners in our municipality.
Away from that interview from Bamenda, we talk on the aftermath of the festivity that comes in the December month. Many Cameroonians and Africans in general are complaining on the difficulties of the month of January, as it is described as the longest and most difficult month for many people who spent a lot of chunks of money during the festive periods, that is Christmas and New Year. As such, some experts in the town of Buea had this candid advice to dish out to many persons across the nation and beyond the shores.
My observation is that, just like you said, a lot of people are crying. There's poverty all over the place. A lot of businesses are very slow, and people don't know what to do. But a wise counsel that I would give is that people don't need to put all their eggs in one basket. What I mean is that we need to be proactive, to foresee. This is where visionary leaders come in. If you're a man of vision, you need to look ahead. What is going to happen after the festive period, so that you'll be able to make sure that you keep property that will help you, or finances or resources that will help you to carry on in the new year.
First of all, permit me to say that people spend a lot of money during these festive periods, and depending on their financial strength, the financial power, so many of them are actually down financially now. But one of the advice I wish to give is that people should plan their lives, plan these festive periods, because it is something which is happening every year. In as much as the means are not there, people should be able to spend judiciously, spend little, and be able to keep something for the month of January, because the month of January is always referred to as a very long month. So don't spend carelessly, don't spend anyhow. Be able to keep some money for January. I know many people are really financially down, and it's not very easy for them. But the wisdom behind all this is that you should spend wisely during December period. Don't spend anyhow. Christmas is like the same day that you live from January to December. Just cook moderate, buy moderate drinks and share with friends, and be able to keep something for the month of January, so that you should not fall prey into the issue of being financially stressed and financially down during the month of January.
Yeah, actually it's very difficult because of the feasting period. People put in a lot of money for the feasting period. January observing, I've just realized that people are in difficulties now. It's just by faith. God is just helping, like people of God. But the difficulties, if you move around, you see even businesses are slow. A lot of things are slow because it happens every year. After feasting, January, people say things are difficult, and it's actually true. I think to me now, I'm praying that next year or in feasting time, people should reduce their expenditures, because these are the cause of the poverty in January. During those periods in December, people spend a lot, and January has been difficult just because. So people should reduce their way of expenditure. And like you asked, how do you look at it observantly? I'm observing, I'm seeing families, I'm seeing even the town itself is showing to you that January is really difficult. And so I think it's a true fact that January is always difficult because of the feasting time. So I think that we should only try to adjust it so that we shouldn't have difficult Januaries.
We remain in the town of Buea, where the Member of Parliament for the Buea Urban Constituency, Donald Esembe Malumba, alongside the Fire Hate Now and Civic Watch, have joined the 5 different taxi driver syndicates in the town of Buea to shun away from hate speech, as they organize a hate-free campaign in the town of Buea, where the different driver syndicates came together to brainstorm on ways to promote social cohesion and living together in the nation. Jabiketi went through that exercise and now fights in this report.
An ambience-filled caravan, chanting songs and messages against hate speech from Checkpoint Moliko to the DO's office, Buea, championed by the Member of Parliament for the Boya Urban Constituency, Honorable Malomba Esembe, alongside the non-governmental organizations Defy Hate and Civic Watch, with a trunk of taxi drivers and civil society actors in the town. The event themed the Boya Hate-Free City campaign took off on January 6, 2024, with the campaigners welcomed at the DO's office by administrators and traditional rulers.
We have all noticed that in the past few years in particular, there was an upsurge of hate discourse. And we thought that especially in the taxi sector, which is a vehicle, an arena which we all use from the very young to the old, we should be able to start this campaign, dubbed Stop Bad More, which is all about eradicating hate speech.
We saw taxi drivers who stopped business for over 45 hours and marched and chanted messages which to them and to us go a long way to change narratives as fighting hate speech is concerned. We didn't only see them chant messages, but they handed over to authorities of this town a declaration that they are taking upon them to engage and decide not to actually spread hate speech in their taxis.
At the DO's office, the taxi drivers were further sensitized against spreading hate speech. As an extension of compassion to taxi drivers who have been victims of the socio-political crisis, cash donations and gifts were handed over to the affected drivers and their families by the Member of Parliament and other well-wishers.
So we are here to fight against hate speech. So we build the living together to be stronger.
We have lost so many drivers. The taxi driving sector in Boya has been paying for so many years now. So today we saw something else we didn't expect. What had just happened here today.
Thank the government, thank the honorable who give away the gift, thank all everybody.
At a time when Cameroon is plagued by several expressions and actions of hate speech, armed conflicts, plus intertribal clashes, such a gesture comes in handy to foster living together, and it is hoped that it be extended to other parts of the Southwest region and beyond.
With that hate-free speech campaign done for us by Jabiketi, viewers of High Television, this is where we draw the curtains of High Prime for tonight, this Tuesday evening, the 9th of January 2024. Thanks for watching and good night from our newsroom.